Hello and welcome. We're going to talk today about GWABIT and how it sources more and better data to the Oracle Sales Cloud. Let's talk about what are the fundamental problems that GWABIT addresses. The CRM is largely powered by data. It's powered by contact and relationship data, but one of the problems and challenges with CRMs is sourcing more and better data to the CRM. Much of this data comes from individual address books, but one of the challenges with address books is that people are often not very good about adding and updating contacts to their address books. Instead, they tend to use their email inboxes as their address books. So when they need a contact, they'll do a search and find the email that has the contact that they need, but then they won't bother to save that contact in their address book. And if it's not present in their address book, then that information doesn't go downstream to the CRM. And even if they do add a contact to their address book, people are not very good typically about updating that information, often because they don't even know which contacts are out of date. GWABIT speaks to this problem by actually capturing email signature information. The thinking is that no one ever sends an email with an out-of-date signature. So as of the time that somebody hits the send button on an email, you've got a fresh contact that you can work with and that you can compare against the CRM to determine whether or not that contact is new to the Oracle Sales Cloud or an update to an existing contact in the Sales Cloud. There are different ways that GWABIT can source information to the cloud. One is through our Outlook utility, and it works very simply. When you click on an email, GWABIT will look at the signature. It'll compare that against the user's address book and determine whether or not that contact is new to the address book or an update to an existing contact. In this case, GWABIT has found that Jared Kingsley is a new contact to the user's address book, and so it's going to offer the user the option to add that to their address book with this alert. So we simply click GWABIT, and we can look at the populated Outlook address book form. We like that, and so we're going to save this contact. Now we're going to take a look at the Oracle Sales Cloud. So in addition to adding this contact to our address book, we've also pushed that contact downstream to the Oracle Sales Cloud. And so we can simply click on the contact here, and we can look at the detail for that contact. So now what we're going to do, let's say that Jared has changed his title and he's changed his phone number. And we wouldn't necessarily know about that except that when an email passes through the email system and with that updated contact information in the signature, GWABIT actually automatically detects that. So note that in this scenario, Jared has a job title of Managing Director, and just pay close attention to the last 4 digits of that phone number because that number is going to change. So let's go take a look at our email. So Jared lets us know that he's been promoted. Now he's the President and CEO of Kingsley Financial, and his title has changed, and also his phone number has changed, and GWABIT automatically detects this. So now we're going to go ahead and grab this updated contact. So 2 things are happening. One is that we're updating the address book, and so GWABIT lets the user know which fields have changed in this user's contact, both their title and their phone number. So we're going to save this. And now let's take a look at the Oracle Sales Cloud. So as you can see, GWABIT has automatically updated this contact in the Oracle Sales Cloud. So we've changed the job title, and we've also changed the phone number. let's talk a little bit about options that are available with GWABIT. So in this scenario, we were using our GWABIT Outlook plugin to enable a user to add and update a contact, and using that, a user can actually vet the contact themselves. But you can run GWABIT in different ways. So for example, you can configure GWABIT to forward email from your MS Exchange server into the GWABIT server, and there you've got a couple of different options. One is that you can run the solution fully automatically, and in that scenario, no human ever puts eyes on the data. It automatically adds and updates contact information to the Oracle Sales Cloud. Another option, if your organization uses data stewards, is they can use our optional data quality management editor. And with this solution, we compare the older version of the contact in the Oracle Sales Cloud with the updated version of the contact found in the email. So there are a variety of options that are available depending on whether the organization wants individual users to have full control over their contacts, or if they want to run a more industrial strength model and either run the solution fully automatically or enable data stewards to vet the information behind the scenes. So now let's take a look at additional ways that we can present the information using our GWABIT Enterprise Relationship Reports. At GWABIT Enterprise Relationship Management, or ERM reports, in addition to sourcing more and better contact and relationship information to the Oracle Sales Cloud, we can also view contact and relationship information here in our ERM reports. This report is used primarily to answer the question, who do we know at, fill in the blank. So that's a question that gets asked a lot, say around the water cooler, but it's often hard to answer. GWABIT ERM reports are intended to answer that question quickly and easily. We can search by company if we want to find people at our firm who know people at a certain company, but we can also search in other ways. So for example, we can search by industry code, by practice group, by name, by geography, etc. In this example, I'm going to search for 3 different Acme companies, and GWABIT responds with 2 lists. We have a list of contacts, so these are people who we know at these 3 Acme companies, and then we have a mirror view. This is a list of colleagues. These are people at our firm who know people at the 3 Acme companies. If I click on one of these contacts, I can see the people at our firm who know Fiona at Acme Aeronautics and how well they know her. It's a 0 to 5 relationship scale. 5 is the strongest relationship. Conversely, if I click on Kylie at our firm, I can see who she knows at the 3 Acme firms. One thing that GWABIT does is it automatically looks up contacts on LinkedIn, and when it finds matches, it enriches the contact record, including the Oracle Sales Cloud record, with the LinkedIn profile URL. So this is one of the places where we can view that information. So we just click on that link and we can view that person's LinkedIn profile here. There are other ways that we can display this information. So in addition to these lists, we can also look at heat maps. We can also look at Sankey diagrams. So this is a quick and easy way to find those 1 or 2 people who seem to know everybody in an organization. This is a fast and easy way to do that. We also have an aggregate email activity trend diagram as well. So we can look at the aggregate email activity between our firm and, in this example, 3 different Acme companies. Particularly in professional services firms, email activity is useful because it tends to track with revenue because the more email you have, you tend to have more billable hours. So you tend to want these lines to go up, but the information is still actionable when the lines go down. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's bad news. You could just be in between cases. But when the lines do go down, that's a good time to pick up the phone and invite a client to lunch. We can look at this information over a 3, 6, or 12-month period, and we don't have to just look at email activity for 1 or more companies. We can also look at activity for one or more industries and do comparisons, or maybe geographies. So there are a variety of ways that we can cut this information. I'm going to go back to my list for a moment, and you'll note that the contact count here for this particular search is 66. Let's say that I want to winnow this list down, and so there are different ways that I can do that. So we have these filters out to the right here that enable us to focus our search results. So for example, if I want to just focus on those relationship strengths that are, say, 3 or higher, I can do that. I can also focus on, say, mid to high level job titles. I can also focus on certain geographies or industries. Regarding this industry tile, this is actually context sensitive. So in this example, I've done a search for several companies, and it's showing me the associated industries. But if I had done an industry search, this tile would change and show me companies instead. And if I did a people search, it would show me both the companies and the industries associated with those people. So you can see that my contact count has changed from 66 to 15. And now that I have a focused list, I'm going to export this into Excel. And now I've got a workbook with 5 different tabs on it. I've got an email tab, I have a physical mail list, I have a heat map, I also have a known by report, so this shows who knows whom and how well they know each other and the date of last contact. And then I also have a detail report, so this is the kitchen sink. This shows us everything that we have for these contacts. So it includes the LinkedIn profile links, it includes the industry codes, the date of last contact, and the relationship scores. And all this information is sortable and selectable. That concludes our presentation of GWABIT ERM reports. Thank you very much for your attention.